Welcome to the very first Poston Butte High School Army JROTC video. My name is Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Vega, your instructor through this prestigious program. Today I'm going to be going over how I would like your notes and assignments to be typed up and submitted, and then also how to submit them given one or two scenarios and how they will be graded. Please note that when I go to talk about the grading process, that this program and the grade that you receive in it is not going to go on your transcripts. The grading is purely for you to understand how well you are getting the material. Basically, it's your own check bar to see how you're doing. If at any point in this program that you feel that you are having such a hard time understanding the material, feel free to email any of our instructors who will be using the battalion email at Poston Butte .JROTC@gmail.com. Make sure that you include your name, or I should say rank, name, last, then first. Cannot type today. And then on the next line, who the question is to. So who it's directed to. And your options are Lieutenant Colonel Vega, me, Sergeant Major Stark, and Major Reither. Sorry for the delay in between those names. I had to think for a minute. But yeah, whoever this is directed to, if you want to always direct your questions towards me, that's fine. I'm probably going to be the most quote-unquote qualified to answer any questions, mainly because I've had the most training out of the three of us. But if you ever want to try and spot check the Sergeant Major or the executive officer, who is Major Reither, go ahead and do it, just because I want to see how well you guys can test my staff. Please note also that I probably will be going over the chain of command, which is basically who's in charge of who and who you should go to first when you have a question. But more likely than not, because we won't have a full established chain of command, you can always email myself, Sergeant Major Stark, or Major Reither. Note that all three of these people here, including myself, are cadets, but you don't ever have to say cadet while saying a person's rank. You just say Lieutenant Colonel Vega, or for short Colonel Vega, or Sergeant Major Stark, or Major Reither. Pretty simple, but never walk up to any of these three people and go Vega, Stark, Reither if you are not in the position to be able to do that. And really, no one is. Only I am to these two people and anyone below, which is basically you. But eventually, you get to move up and be where Sergeant Major and the Major are here. Hopefully, depending if you can prove yourself, which I'm sure you will. Alright, so enough with the chit chat. I'm going to get into stuff. So, to do the notes and assignments, you can have one of two options. You can either handwrite them and submit them to me at the end of club meetings, or you can type them and submit them via email, or if we get the page going, the Dropbox. But I'm going to show you what I want you to do if you're doing typed. And essentially the same thing will happen for written notes. It's just one's a lot easier to do, the other one you have to move your hand a little weird to do it right. So I'm going to go ahead and name this document, just because it's an example. I'll do example notes. Alright, so on your note submission, you're going to first go up to inserts and header, align right, skip a line. Well, you're not printing, so if you want to use the top line here, you can. But you want to go ahead and do cadet / and then your rank. And you can do C for cadet. It'll be a lot quicker to type. So for me, it'd be cadet LTC. And if you don't know the summary or the I can't think of it. Basically, the short version of your rank. Just consult the website here. Eventually, under I'll have another tab here named information, and you can just go there and pop it right up. But in my case, it's cadet / Lieutenant Colonel Vega Zachary T. You don't have to put your middle initial. I don't really care. I do it just because of habits. The day, and today is the 20, or not the 24th, the 3rd of March, so 03 March 14. Make sure that there are no spaces in there, and it has to be day, month, year. And then the third line is going to be the purpose of the paper. In this case, it would be, just to give you like a proper example, it would be Unit 1, so U1, Chapter 1, so C1, and then Lesson 1, or L1, and then notes. And then if you want to make it like completely formal, you could put the instructor name, which would be Cadet LTC Vega Zachary T. And again, if you go to put my name here, you don't have to worry about my middle initial. It's, like I said, it's just a formality. But what you're going to do is for primary headers, let's say in Chapter 1, or in Unit 1, Chapter 1, Lesson 1, actually the very first thing you're going to want to do is the key terms, aka the vocabulary. So for marking where your key terms are going to go, you're going to type in key terms, all capital, with a colon, bolded and underlined. Alright, and then you're going to type in your first, and you're going to type in your terms. So the first one in Chapter 1, Lesson 1 is cadets. You'll do a hyphen and then the definition here. And then so on and so forth. Blah, can't talk. And you're going to want to make sure that your vocabulary words and stuff are double spaced like so. Now, if you're using Google Docs, we have the cool thing of just going to insert and then a horizontal line. If you're on Open Office, which is what the school computers have, or the Microsoft Office, just do if you hit Shift and then the underscore key, and then you can just put in a line like that, which kind of in my opinion looks a little bit better than the horizontal line that Google puts in there, but it's whatever you want to do. In that case, I don't really care, just so long as there's a break line there. Alright, so you're going to bold, underline, and all caps again, notes with a colon. Alright, and now on this line, you're going to bold, underline, and italicize, no caps, and your first header, or your first main subject, would be introduction. No colon. Just like that, basically. And then this is where you basically do a note list of all your notes. Now, when it comes to subsections in the textbook, the headers like this, where they'll be italicized, will be gray in color. The subtext will be just like a solid black text. It'll look italicized like the rest of it, but it's a sub area. And that one's just a bold, underline, and then whatever it is. In this case, the first one that you'd run into in Chapter 1, Lesson 1 is Unit 1, Citizenship in Action. and then you go through and do your list again. Also, on the ones that you have to italicize, just so you know that they're a special part. Not print format. What are you gonna do? You're gonna do something. No? Okay. There should be a way to highlight this. If not, just make it like a red or a blue text, something that's dark, something that you know, okay, this is a main section, not a subsection. I don't care what color you do this in, just so long as it's a different color. That way I know, okay, this is one section, this is another section, this is another section. And then just the subsections like this, just leave black. Alright, so when it comes to your lesson review assignments at the end of each lesson, you're going to have the same header as before. I'm not going to put it in just because you just saw a little bit ago. But the way that this is going to go is you're going to put in where in the top here where it said notes. Here, I'm just going to show you. What are you doing? Stop it. Alright, so where it says U1, C1, L1 notes, you're just going to put U1, C1, L1 lesson review. And that's where that would go. And then again, at the top, bold, underline, caps, lesson review with a colon. And then you're going to actually type in the question. And in this case, the first question is, what is the mission of the JROTC, of Army JROTC? You're going to skip a line, tab in, and then your answer would go here. And you're going to do that for all 4 problems. And then, like I said, every lesson review is going to be just 4 problems. When it comes to the actual club meetings, I will tell you, okay, on this question you need to, you can only do this section, or you're not allowed to use this for your notes, or for your lesson review. You need to give this many amount for this question. For example, question 2 in this lesson review is, what JROTC skills do you look forward to learning? And for me, just so I remember when I'm doing this, and I'll say this in class, is you have to give at least 5. And in situations like this, you'd want to do an A, B, C, D, E kind of format. Just like that. And then number 3 is give an overview of 1 unit in the JROTC course. Unit 7 is not an option. So in this case, it'd be give an overview of 1 unit in the JROTC course. Unit 7 is not an option. And the reason why Unit 7 is not an option in this case is because of the fact that Unit 7 only has 2 things that are worth telling about. I know because I've read everything. So in this case, what you could do just to make this really fast if you're typing this, just go through, copy, paste your notes from one of the unit overviews, and your job is basically done. But yeah, so this is basically how your notes are going to be. And your lesson review is going to be. In the next video, because I'm running out of time on this record session, you will get to see how the grading process will work and how I want you to submit them. So, yeah, join me in the next video.